topic, I kind of just, I was debating whether to do or not. Now I know we talk a lot, a lot about tech, which is fine. It's open chat, but this one I found in the manual iPad. That's what I call it, which is explaining women's science career gap. Now the reason I kind of bring this up is because I like to debate a lot on different website forums, and this kind of just supports my my take on it, which is the wage gap. There's always been this thing. I've always heard that women get paid less out in than men, and I've heard that for years until I actually did some research on my own to you hear people say things for years, and you kind of tend to believe it sometimes. So I went out and I did my own research, and what I found was it's not quite like that. And let me go you through my own explanation before I go to this article, because that'll kind of set you up for what I'm be talking about. So what I did, I went on the internet, I did a lot of research, and I found this one book that was called Why Men Make More. And I want to find out the guy's name because I can't remember. I always forget it each time. And, okay, yeah, that's his name, Warren Farrell. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of background information for Warren Farrell. He was actually, he was in, I can't remember he was one of the main officers for women, the National, let me see, Organization for Women. He was actually the board member for 3 years. And so he was, for women's rights and all that. But he kind of came to a realization, on the wage gap thing. If women were making less than men, how come companies weren't hiring more women than men? Because that would make financial sense, because it'd be cheaper labor and everything like that. So after asking himself that question, he actually he did a 15-year study getting data from the IRS, or I'm not sure if it was the IRS exactly, different data from different sources. And what he found out was it's not necessarily I'm trying to think of the key word here. It's not discriminate. It wasn't really, he didn't consider it gender discrimination, the reason why men made more, but rather some of the choices that women made when they for jobs. And it was kind of very interesting what he found out. And one of the things he found out was that often women didn't ask for raises very often. I mean, men usually are very, I said, what are you, barbaric? No. They usually, are more outcoming, so they'll ask for more raises. Now, of course, you have to have, a reason to back it up, for obviously to give them for raises. And on some jobs, when you go in, usually it's a high-level job. Usually you have to negotiate for your actual salary. And, they might throw a number at you, and a lot of women, they won't negotiate for more money. They'll hear the lowest one, they'll kind of accept it because they're afraid they're going to get turned down for the job. So it's really, they need to do more research, know the starting salary and the high end of the salary, and usually somewhere in the middle is what you want to negotiate for. And there's actually a lot of other reasons. One of the biggest reasons is the type of jobs that they're going for. Women tend to go more for fulfilling jobs like social worker, liberal arts, those types of things, where men do a lot more into engineering and science. And just like right here, I'm guessing most of the people in the chat room are men. So, And so, yeah, that all, there's probably a lot more than that kind of plays into it. Now, this just came out today in the paper, which it says explaining women's science career gap. And that's one of the jobs that are women way behind in. In fact, there's scholarships out there for women to go into science and math careers. And this one, actually, this is a study that they've done. Now, I guess it's called STEM jobs. I'm not sure what that actually means. It's a sausage fest. Oh, my gosh. I didn't their prime minister and teabag with us. But they actually kind of did a study. And let me scroll down. This was done by new National Academy of Sciences, reported by Professor Stephen Sissy and Wendy Williams of the Cornell University states otherwise. And they actually called 20 years of data on women and STEM jobs, which I guess are scientific and mathematical jobs. And this is what they said, and this is also reported in USA Today. Instead of outright male chauvinism, free or constrained choices largely related to raising a family now put the big brakes on a women's science. Oh, wait a minute. I don't know if that was the right one. I don't know if that was the right one or not, but it kind of said that their careers were more geared toward children, raising children, and things like that. So, so I think that's another reason. Now, a lot of that's been changing actually, because now we're seeing a flip-flop. More women are going toward careers and less on children, and there's even some younger men going, less on hard, professional jobs and going more for being marriage and children early in life. So we're also seeing a kind of flip-flop on that as well. So, and you know what? I tell you what, I've discussed this before on some forums. I had usually most women are okay with it, my opinion. There's a few though that called me undateable, believe it or not, just for those views. But I guess you can't please everybody. Yeah, I think we are seeing more women in the military, and I was in the military for 20 years, and they even now they can be in combat, and we that's when I started seeing a lot of women on ships too, and we actually had women coming on board ship, working in the engine rooms and things like that. So now PC J14, there's actually a study out there. There's actually more women online playing online games than men. Now, I'm not talking about first-person shooters or World of Warcraft necessarily. It could be poker, could be the little flash games. And surprisingly, it's the older women. Them slackers. And I mentioned this before. Now, I can't remember what study or other things as well. So, but I thought that was very interesting for that article. It kind of supported what I've read and researched myself.